We like to talk about our rights, but it's not about your rights. It's about your roles and your responsibility. Each one should respect each other's roles and responsibilities, and then work to try to make certain that those things bring about an amicable end. Hello? So some of you mothers are raising sons by yourself. Some of you mothers are. Amen. For whatever the reasons are. We're not getting into the reasons. That's your private business, and so we're not talking about it. We're just talking about the reality that is happening. When you're raising sons by yourself, you can't operate as if the son one is now the man in your life, because he's the boy in your life. Hello. So no matter what he thinks, he's not the man in your life. Mom and them used to say, you smelling yourself. That's what Mom and them used to say. Because what it was is that I was trying to do something that was over and above what my role and responsibility was. Can you hear me? So mothers, when that happens, you have to come put your foot down hard and not move. I'm talking about be unmovable. And the reason you want to do that is because if you don't set those boundaries now, one day there's a guy with a badge and a stick and a gun and some mace, and he's waiting to set the boundaries that you didn't set. So set them now. So when the boy goes to operating a certain way, you can't be backing up because he goes to giving you a sad story and trying to be his friend. You don't want to be his friend. You got to be his mama. Hello? So the boy's nasty. You got a nasty son. That means you're going to be a nasty inmate or a nasty husband to some unsuspecting innocent person. Don't have any idea what she's getting. Hello? I'm serious about this. So you got to deal with that right then. Teach them don't be nasty. Matter of fact, over deal with it. Have them cleaning and scrubbing and say, well, that's girls' work. Not today. Not today. It's your work today. I'm talking about how to handle boys. Say, Pastor, well, how you talk? I know about boys. I've been one. Hello? So when it was time to wash dishes, I said, let Diane do it. Or let Joan, those are my two sisters, let them do it. And then when I was getting up off the floor, I said, yes, ma'am. And I'm serious. No, I'm telling you what I know. What I know. And look, it kept me out the penitentiary. Hello? It kept me off the streets. Can you hear what I'm saying? So you can go to talking that talk about, well, you know, Pastor, we're in the 21st century. We don't want to be too hard. Look, that is your problem tomorrow. Today you might have a good feeling about it, but you can't raise no family on no good feelings. And forget about this stuff about trying to make sure they're happy. That's not your job. Your job is to make sure they're protected. Make sure you provide for them. Make sure you preserve them. There's nothing in the program about making sure they're happy. And anyway, they're not going to be happy when they have to do what they have to do. Can you hear me? Oh, one other thing about that. That applies equally when there is a husband in the house. Because sometimes the men are in the house, but they're absent. Hello? When there's discipline needed, because the man ought to be doing all the discipline anyway. Woman that carried that baby for 9 months, man ought to at least be able to discipline them. But what happened is that the men go to backing up and doing things. They're involved in sports. They want to watch the basketball game. Or they want to do the video stuff, you know, and they want to kind of engage with their sons and daughters as far as that goes. When the reality is that if you don't set the discipline line straight and firm, then you're going to overtax the mother. So when the man is in the house, now the mother gets frustrated because the man is not doing his job. She may not know all of his job, but she just knows that something is not getting done. The kids understand that, so they play one against the other. They'll come say he said, and then they'll go to him and say she said, and before they know it, the two of them are acting an idiot, and the child is on the sideline clapping. Go, 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 go for it, go. I'm trying to talk about this mindset. There's one other item on this area of ghetto programming, and that is a disregard for protocol. You don't recognize how there are different levels associated with people, so we disregard it. It's just like if you'd have folk in the church and one of the deacons say, well, we need to do so and so and so and so. So you got some who would say, yeah, but I don't feel like doing that. But if you want to get it done, do it yourself. So the deacon get on about doing it themselves. But in reality, when the deacon said, do it, what the deacon was really saying is we need some help at getting this done. And your responsibility wasn't to come back with some smart behind remark. Your responsibility was to come up and say, well, let's get it done. Can you hear me? All right. Or worse still, pastor says we're gonna build a new building. So we want everybody to start praying about that and going in a fasting and every day. I know it, but Pastor Mike said that, but well, that butt is about to get whipped. Because what God does, God says, and you don't believe me, read it in Numbers, the 16th chapter. God says, no. This is the one I put here to lead you. This is a person after my own heart, to lead you with wisdom and understanding. So you need to recognize that the protocol in this house is that the pastor has a responsibility to lead, has a responsibility to direct. Can you hear me? So when I say this house, I mean the house of the Lord. That's his responsibility. He's supposed to do that. He's not supposed to be the chief cook and bottle washer. Uh-oh. You don't hear this. That's not his responsibility. And when you find them doing that, then that means they end up with weak people. Because when you got weak pulpits, you're going to have weak pews. I'm done with that part. This lack of availability. You can't ever be found. That's a ghetto mind. Mediocre thinking. This lack of commitment to excellence. That's ghetto programming. It's mediocre. It's mediocre lifestyle. So when we look at God's amazing promise, when we look at God's amazing love, we go back and we find out that God did not submit himself or subject himself to this mediocrity. Can you hear me? The word shows us in that second verse and in that third verse and in that fourth verse, the word shows us that though we do not know all the specifics of our future existence, one thing we do know is that one day we will have a body like Christ, and so we'll be able to step out of this mediocre lifestyle. We'll be able to step beyond this. When should I start? I should start the moment I'm saved. We put on immortality. Well, yeah, but we're still going to die. Yes, but not my spirit. I'm going to be with the Lord. And in the third verse, all who believe this, I'm in verse number 3 now. And all who believe this will keep themselves pure just as Christ is pure, in case you wonder why I was making such a big deal of that. In that third verse, and everyone who has this hope in him purifies himself just as he is pure. What's really being said here? We shall be like him means inheriting a glorified body like his body and sharing in his eternal glory. So we shall see him as he is, but we must also walk as he walked. If you're going to see him as he is, that before you can see him as he is, you must walk as he walked. And then you got to, look, one other thing, you got to be righteous, even as he is righteous. Can you hear me? Saints are expected to purify themselves. What does that mean, Pastor? It means to keep your hearts clean, get rid of malice, get rid of anger and all that, those angst that go along with trying to be something that you're not. Rid yourself of that. Hello? If we know our destiny is to be like Jesus, this sense of our true identity will move us to be more like him now. Don't wait to say, well, when I die, I'm going to be perfected. No, you're supposed to be operating toward that now. Hope is confident expectation, certainty about the future. We walk in the hope of a better tomorrow. Can you hear me?